My name is Nosy Paul McLean. I am the curator and host of Long Story Long, which, for those of you that don't know, is a monthly fireside chat that features different people in different career fields and dives into their journeys. Um, and yeah, this month, which is why you are all here, we are featuring Terrace Martin, who is a five-time Grammy-nominated artist and producer and multi-instrumentalist. And so can we just give him a round of applause, please? And also a dear friend of mine who I've known for some time. So I'm not going to keep you waiting much longer. We're kind of just going to dive into it. So yeah, starting from a bit of the tippy top, Terrace and I met a few years ago, I'd say like 2015. And he was an ardent admirer of my grandfather's, who was a jazz musician by the name of Jackie McLean. And so Terrace hit me up when he was like, "Yo, are you Jackie McLean's granddaughter?" I was like, "Yeah, I am." And so we met, and you really have to be a jazz head, I feel like, to know my granddad. And so that kind of told me a lot about him and who he is in the musical space. And I kind of want to start there, just giving us a little bit of context as to what birthed your love of jazz music, and where it all started for you.
It's cold than a motherfucker out here. I'm trying to be cool and shit. Hi everybody. Everybody doing good?
Hi.
Um, it's an honor for me to be here with Nazi. It's my home girl. But so I'm from Los Angeles, California. Um, I'm from the west side of Los Angeles, California, which is technically the Crenshaw and Slauson area. And over in that area, I grew up around a lot of music, a lot of different vibes, a lot of different people, a lot of different cultures, and different things like that. My mother is a songwriter, a singer. My father was a jazz drummer. So I grew up in the house of music, inside the house because of my parents, where they were. It was extremely artsy. It was very pro-black. Extremely pro-black, but not anti-racist. It wasn't racist. It was just pro-black. It was pro that. It was velvet portraits on the wall of other black families that we didn't know who the hell these families were. My father got those at a secondhand store, but they were black with afros, and so we grew up looking at that. We grew up looking at album like blocks and blocks of vinyl. I remember seeing Prince and Revolution, George Duke, John Coltrane, and all these other different albums in this back room, and what was interesting, and I just thought I'll share this tonight. My parents were separated, but they were the kind of separated that they really both was deeply in love with me. So they were separated, but they understood that they had to raise me. So my mom said, "Well, you just move to the back room." So my father said, "I'm going to the back room." Now that I'm older, I realize that's not separation. But it was, because they wasn't even talking for like years. It was the weirdest shit ever. But in that household was interesting because I remember the hallway, and we lived at this time. At this time, we lived on 59th and 8th Ave in the Crenshaw district, across from this apartment complex that I grew up in called Dorset Village. And when your family makes a little bit of money, you could probably get a house in this area. So we ended up getting a house in this area. And I remember my mother was living in the front room and my father in the back room. So it was interesting because it was a long hallway. And my mother was an Ernie Barnes art collector early. He's a black artist. Look him up if you don't know who he is. Very important to the culture. And all I remember is, like, imagine at this age, you're young. Outside, you're hearing the most amazing NWA shit. Is going crazy. But inside, my parents aren't talking, but the hallway, I'm hearing John Coltrane. And then my mom is playing, like BB and CC whining, and I'm looking at black art. This is like consistently every day of my life. You know, now that I have kids, I pay attention to this kind of shit. Like, you know, but my upbringing was very. I have to say, it was very like the full experience of what I feel like. You know, I was very fortunate to grow up in a black artist household in the middle of South Central Los Angeles. I think that was a very smart move on the creator for me. And then through that, you know, I started playing music. My father was a drummer. I started playing. My grandfather played saxophone. So now I'm playing family. You know, but how I grew up, that household and that outside really shaped my whole soul, because at the same time I'm doing all this art. When you're a kid, you're spending at this age. I'm getting in the house about 4 o'clock. So 4, 5, 6. I'm going back outside for hours. 7, 8, 9. Now I'm asleep. Now I'm back outside. So actually, as a kid, you're spending more time outside. So the outside environment is a little bit more of an influence than my inside environment at this time. Mm-hmm. And that's where that merger happened of like, where what I come to believe was just like that true LA shit, where it's like I was very influenced by outside, but also influenced by inside with the art. You know what I'm saying? And that was my foundation.
Okay, yeah. So tell us a little bit about that outside influence. What was the contrast between what you were experiencing outside versus, you know, what you were experiencing inside, and the intersection of that, particularly musically for you?
You know what? It was different, but yet the same. I mean, it was different because obviously I'm outside, so you know, and I grew up an only child. I'm an only child. Well, my father got a ton of motherfucking kids. I meet him every time on the internet. It's a DM right now with a brother right now. Then they hit me with the, you got $100? Like, whatever. But anyway, I'm my mother's only that I know of. Um, but you know, I grew up an only child, so I was I always felt like I had to find my village. You know what I'm saying? I had to find my village, because, you know, when you grow up in a house with, you know, your father's over here doing music, your mother's over here, they're going through what we all been through for our relationship shit. They're not really talking at a certain pivotal time to the child's life. It's like I had to figure out how to, damn, where's my
Foster
world?
community
Yeah,
for
like,
you.
where's
Yeah.
my world? And outside was my world, you know. I had a cousin named Taryn Mosley. Teely, that was very influential with the way I grew up, because he taught me how to navigate outside, because he was all outside at the time. And when I mean outside, what I mean, it wasn't it was a different kind of art outside. It was you know, I mean, hip hop was driving at this time. Hip hop was driving. West Coast hip hop was being bubbled. NWA, Boys in the Hood had dropped. Straight Outta Compton was about to drop, so you know, Ice-T was dropping. I think Ron Page was out. Other than that, it was all East Coast. I remember most of the people in my neighborhood was playing. If I think about, it's a gas station on Crenshaw and Slauson, and like all I remember is in the '80s, hearing things like Biz Markie picking bookers and Young MC and Def Jeff, like really hip hop.
Right.
You know, the gangsters was playing hip hop. The gangster wasn't playing gangster rap.
Right.
That's some other shit. You know, they was playing oldies and hip hop. You know, I think the most aggressive song at that time was BDP had a song, uh, the J, the I, the M, the M, the Jimmy. It was Boogie Down Productions. It was talking about guns, killing, busting on motherfuckers, and that was the most aggressive song at that time. And West Coast Cats was playing that, but I, for me, outside, my influences were the guys in the neighborhood, the guys that had the nice cars, that were nice, hosted the block parties. You know what I'm saying? Gave back to the community. Bought all the kids ice cream, and you know, had money. You know, at that time in life, you know, this is the crack era, so crack was a big deal. You know, everybody was affected by it. On I was on two ends of the stick, where a lot of my family sold dope, and the ones that sold dope ended up getting hooked on dope. You know what I'm saying? But everybody, this is regular shit at this time. So my outside influence was just all them dudes. I was just getting money and being cool. We just so happened to be part of the gangs and different things like that. You know what I'm saying?
So, what would you say kept you from involving yourself in certain spaces, right? Because I feel like you had a lot of musical influence at home, and you talk about fostering your community outside, which I think is important. And how did you find spaces that fed you positively in and amongst that type of environment as well?
Well, it wasn't after I grew, at 16, 17 years old. I'm already at that point. A child is kind of, I don't. I mean, how many people have kids here? Okay, y'all don't know yet. But y'all all been that age, So, but at me, I have children. But at that point, a child, is we talking about 16, 17, 18. So, for me, it was in LA, like LA is not like New York. It's not like New York culture where my friends in New York, they was able to play instruments, tap dance, do poetry, and draw shit, and they was called artists. In LA, because the gang thing was so tough, even as an artist, we had to go to the same schools and the same blocks. So you couldn't, now fortunately you couldn't separate that. And I'm happy I went through that. I used to hate that shit, but I'm saying not to say I didn't separate. You know how you say, how did I find positivity in that? It was all positive. This is a certain time in my life. Everything was positive. This is the time where I really stood for a certain community. I represented a certain community in the way I chose to represent it. Some folks would call it, banging this and that, but I did music. I made sure people knew that my community wasn't all what that song says or what you may know a friend that may have got you in trouble or, maybe your homeboy got hit in the face 11 times in front of his girl. I don't know, but regardless, you know what I'm saying? I had a different view of where I grew up at because my father always taught me that a real man stands for his family and his village first. So internally, I had a real thing with I still do, with the Crenshaw district that I don't see it like anyone else sees it. I see it how my guys see it, and I don't even see it how they see it. Because I've been to Africa before. So I see the way that they can't even imagine what it really is, and that's why I value that area so tough. I value that. It's not because I want to be Crenshaw. No, I know what that is. It's tribal. It's African. I've been to Nigeria. I've been to Ghana. I've spoken to these people that we deal with these same issues. But anyway, regardless, all that. What the fuck was the question? I get passionate about the area because that's home,
I was just, I guess.
Oh, here we go.
Inquiring just about how you fostered, I guess, balance between.
Watch how I've been in the corner now. So me and Nazi, I be getting fucked up and talking to Nazi, so she kind of used to the vibe. So watch how I've been the cornerback. Skirt.
Okay, go.
In the Crenshaw district, not only is it just a beautiful area, and yes, it has a lot of strange shit where it's like any other area. It's murders in Beverly Hills. It's drug shit in Beverly Hills. It's a lot of shit. It's actually a crazy roach epidemic in Beverly Hills nobody talks about. Nobody talks about it. When you really smell it, that shit. Look it up. Right? But I'm saying, like, it's the same shit everywhere. You know what I'm saying? But, so for me, I'm saying, it wasn't that for me. It was like, how do I find refuge? Because I'm doing all this. I'm seeing this. I'm listening to gangster shit. My heroes is Crips. But then 4 doors down is Billy Higgins.
Right.
He's 4 doors down rehearsing with Cedar Walton.
Right.
My dad I know who Elvin Jones is.
Right.
So I'm able to be this guy in front of my dad, and my dad's a different dude because he's a dude that comes from the streets and believes in street rules and street culture and play music because that's where jazz is from.
Yeah.
Yeah, you know what's up.
Yeah.
That's where jazz is from. Jazz ain't at Berkeley and this and suit and tie. Jazz comes from from celebration and struggle and love.
Yeah.
You know, jazz is African American classical music. I know they just want to say it's America's. That's great, but that's from the hood. That's gangster shit. Jazz is gangster rap. You understand what I'm saying? It's the same shit. It's no different from Miles and Pac. They was preaching the same thing. They both wanted high level of this certain level of freedom money allows you to have. Beautiful women, fast cars, preach the gospel, make sure everybody was straight, and birth leaders. It's no difference in this shit. So it was no place to run for anywhere because everywhere, everything was there. Billy Higgins is right there. Battle Cat is right there. And then when I got with Billy Higgins, though, I got with Billy Higgins at 16 because I ended up getting in trouble, getting caught with a gun. It wasn't mine. I'm 20-some years later riding with that shit. Shit wasn't mine. But I got in trouble. Reggie Andrews bailed me out of jail and said, man, just sit home and practice your horn. And they put me on house arrest young, and I was only able to go a few blocks away. And Billy Higgins was the house I could go to where the shit wouldn't beat back.
Okay.
So that's where I met your grandfather. When I got out of jail, Billy said, I know a guy that been through struggle too. He gonna get you right. He play alto. And it was Jackie McLean. You know what I'm saying?
So, that's beautiful. Wow, I have so many questions. Okay, one, I kind of want to jump into this next chapter that you just introduced us to, but I do also want to kind of circle back a little bit to, you know, you talked about the Billy Higgins in juxtaposition to hip hop, right? And your understanding and how you have integrated those worlds for you, I find quite unique. So, what was it among your peers? Was it the same?
My peers, it was the same because for some reason the creator always surrounded me with like-minded people. And going back to the Crenshaw district, very specifically from the Mert to Crenshaw and Florence, that very specific area is special because I grew up at a time where every 4 household was a musician. Their father and mother played instruments or music or something like that. But so I grew up around like-minded people. It's like I have a friend, you know, I have a lot of friends I have a lot of friends that are in the penitentiary for life, you know, that are just phenomenal artists. The world's best painters and the world's best musicians, drummers, and pianists. And they unfortunately was dealt with a certain hand in life, but they're amazing artists. So I grew up, even through all this shit, with me getting caught with a gun, me going through shit in the Crenshaw district and all this other stuff, it wasn't like Coltrane and Jodeci wasn't playing next to the homie that also was into the same shit. That was the culture, you know what I'm saying? Like, that Crenshaw district is deep. It's something about that soil. Something about that, I don't know what it is. Something about that soil, you know. It's just, it reminds me of East Oakland. Because East Oakland produces this type of thing that's like such a hood thing, but I always say, people, you know, I dated a few girls from East Oakland. Now, you know, I dated one that put a gun on me.
Hectic.
She was cool though, we worked it out for that. You know what I'm saying? But she knew about Miles Davis.
Right.
And I said, everybody, and I know some other shit in East Oakland. Everybody knew about art. Because everybody, parents love art. That's just natural for black folks to love art. We love music, we love colors, we love seeing. We just, art is our shit. So I grew up, I was fortunate in the era where a lot of my peers were into art, and if they wasn't into art, they respected the mission. You know what I'm saying?
And what contributed really to your musical development in that time of your life, right? Because I know you were surrounded by the Billy Higgins and the Jackie McLeans, and how did you learn? Like, you were self-taught, and I know you picked up piano at quite a young age, obviously your parents. But what were the tools that you employed for yourself at a young age that really honed your skill set?
When I was 14, I first decided I wanted to play the saxophone. My cousin that raised me like a brother named Terrence Mosley, we call him T. Lee. Uh, he was like my biggest influence in my life. So he would do things like, he would say things like, you know, if I got bad grades, like, damn, cuz, all you gotta do is act like you wanna learn. He had all these little secret little finesse, you know, little things going on. So I asked him, I said, man, I'm about to play the saxophone. My mom ain't got no money for lessons, and I could call uncle this, but I want to get it together first. And he said, man, well, look, if you want to do that, then why don't we go to them jam sessions and we'll just ask questions. I said, oh, no, TD. He said, now let's go to a jam session. You tell me what you want to learn. I'm going to go ask the question. Now, my cousin T. Lee at this time was a very aggressive human. But he means well at this time, you know. His heart is full of gold. So I never will forget, we went to Catalina's Bar and Grill. That was a famous jazz club in the 90s. And I won't say what the saxophonist is, but I said, T. Lee, man, I want to learn how to play like that. And he said, okay, I got you. Because I thought this is how you learn how to play, you know. So T. Lee went over to the dude. He was signing autographs, and he said, hey, my little brother says you're going to teach him how to play right now. Right? So we did that. We got kicked out of every damn club in LA. Until we got to, I went to Billy Higgins' house, and this is when you turn about your grandfather. Your grandfather came through one day. He was in town. Her grandfather's name is Jackie McLean. Jackie McLean is, I mean, he's used for a lot of things, but let's start early. He was one of the young guys that was fortunate to be around the master teacher, Charlie Parker, and Miles Davis. So he was a guy that got all this game. He's from an area in Harlem called Sugar Hill, very important area in Harlem. And Jackie is one of the real guys that comes from this bebop era of Charlie Parker, Bud Powell. Then he took that at a young age. His first record ever recorded with Miles Davis, he was 19 years old. It's a funny story about that. I asked him about that years ago. I said, how was it recording with Miles? He said his hero was Charlie Parker. And Miles knew that, so Jackie's on the record date, and Miles thought it'd be a good idea to invite Charlie Parker through, just so Jackie could see him through the thing. And then Jackie said, man, I ran outside and kept throwing up. Just kept throwing up, you know. But anyway, her grandfather was very, very instrumental to me. So at this time, how I met him and got cool with him is Billy Higgins, which is the world's most recorded jazz drummer, is Jackie McLean's best friend. And they was partners. And Billy's from South Central. And Billy Higgins was like super gangster, super hood in New York in the 60s, jacking people drums, slapping, he was pimping. It was just like, wow. When I got to him, he was Muslim, quiet, cool, right. Older, like this. You know, all these guys were already just done with that life. But I think the creator put me next to Billy Higgins because he understood me, and he put me with your grandfather because he understood millions of kids like that. Because then come to find out. So when I went over there to Billy Higgins' house, and Billy said, talk to Jackie. Jackie telling me this, and you know, I didn't know this whole time he's trying to recruit me to go to Hartford School of Music.
Okay.
This is Jackie's whole plan. So he's like, yeah, man. So tell me what you're going through.
He was already at Hartford at that time?
Yeah, he was at Hartford. Well, he's been at Hartford since the early 70s.
Yeah, he was in Hartford.
So, anyway, he ended up telling me, you know, it sounds like you just, he said, it sounds like everybody misunderstands you. And I said, yeah, man, that's what I feel like, you know. But he had a way of like just shaping my brain, and he was the one that told me, man, if I could tell you, know, it just stay with that alto and fall in love with studying. And I was like, yeah, I'm gonna study Charlie Parker, study John Coltrane, study Dexter Gordon, I'm gonna study Sonny Stitt, Eddie Clean Vince, and I'm gonna study all these jazz guys. And then, you know, As I got older, I understood what he meant because Billy said, man, he's going to give you some keys that's going to help your life. And years later, I asked Billy, I said, I told Billy, oh, I got what he meant because when I fell in love with studying all the jazz greats, I just fell in love with studying.
Mm.
So everything I was involved in, I had to study, 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 study. And when I picked up that trait, that's what really helped me move into a whole nother dimension. It was being around those dudes in the hood that was like, and they was cool, you know, like your grandfather told me so much fly gangster shit he was involved in. I said, I gotta look up to him. Anyway, I'm sorry.
That's dope. I mean, I learned something there. I actually didn't know that part of the story.
Wait, let me just say this. Please look up her grandfather, Jackie McLean. He birthed a whole scope of jazz. Like Miles did a record called Kind of Blue in 1959 that was ushering a certain kind of jazz called modal, which is where the chords don't change a lot. One chord, two chords, not too many chords, simple, but yet complicated. They at that point they was playing over chord changes that moved around a lot so you could figure out pieces and things to go with this. But Miles did an album where he just sat on the chord and you had to just figure out how to map your art around this one thing. Jackie McLean had been doing that since 1954, and this is a fact. Tony Williams, the great jazz drummer, Jackie McLean discovered him. Miles Davis got from him. Herbie Hancock, Jackie McLean, Jack DeJohnette, Jackie McLean. Jackie McLean is more than a saxophonist. He is the king and the god of hip, of cool, and cutting edge. The whole time we was doing To Pimp a Butterfly, it wasn't a fucking day I didn't put on a Jackie McLean, the Jackie McLean interview live in Mars. It's called Mars. It's 1977, Jackie McLean talking about what's going on today and what's going on then when we was doing that album. I just wanted to just explain why I keep talking about her grandfather. And when I got out of jail again, they just kept picking me up. I don't know why.
What was going on?
But I called him again, and he gave me some game that changed my life that I'll share eventually when I feel comfortable to share it, that really scoped my life. And I said, man, I don't know how to thank you. So where I was from, how we love somebody, we get a tattoo. That's why I got a grandfather tattooed on my arm at 17 right here, because that's how much I didn't know, you know, it hurts to get it off now, so I'm just gonna die with it. But, you know, I said, hey man, look, Jackie, and he said, why would you do that?
It sounds
But anyway, I just wanted to give Jackie McLean his thing, because I stand for him.
That's beautiful. So, I mean, okay, you said you're not comfortable sharing that just yet.
I mean, I'll share a version. It's so explicit. I just gotta edit it. Cause Jackie was like sugar free too. Y'all know sugar free is? Yeah. And you know, it was just the truth. It was the truth. And sometime in today's world, we'll just leave it like that. You know what I'm saying? Mm. I gotta be careful. I make a living out here, so it's like you gotta be careful what you say, because I don't know if I'm gonna offend a straw or a cup. I don't know what the fuck is gonna happen. I just be like, hey man, he told me some good shit. Bottom line, he said, mind my own business.
Right.
Mind your business.
Mind your business and study.
Yes, fall in love with studying.
Fall in love with studying and mind your business.
I told my son that. My son is like this super amazing swimmer with all these colleges, you know. I guess I take credit for that shit, because I told him the same thing. I said, man, he said, man, I'm trying to get better at swimming. And, you know, I'm trying. And I don't do no sports. I just said, what can I say? I said, fall in love with studying.
Right. So that was really the key. You would say was a key instrumental piece of advice that you got in your musical development that like honed your skill set.
My life.
Your life. So I know as a child you also you know, at some point you got the attention you got onto Jay Leno's radar, who then got your scholarship to CU.
Yep. I was in high school ditching, so I know my shit is all just fucked up, but it comes out obviously positive. It don't start like that. If you got kids, when you have, be patient. Some shit don't. You know, if my mom was here, she was like, I thought this motherfucker was going down.
Right.
So it worked out.
Not down.
My first 2 years of high school, I went to a school called Santa Monica High. And my freshman year of high school, I was learning how to play the saxophone. Mm-hmm. My 10th grade year of high school, that summer from 9th to 10th, I remember it was, you know, back then you get like 3-4 months of a summer break. And I remember me practicing no less than 9 to 10 hours a day, every day. So I excelled real fast. I practiced, I meditated, and I prayed. I've always been spiritual since young, you know, and, you know, all the cats taught me to be spiritual. Like, jazz musicians are very spiritual.
They are.
You know?
Yeah, they are.
I ain't talking about the motherfuckers that came from Berkeley and, you know, these corny motherfuckers. I'm talking about the real ones is very spiritual because they know God controls everything. So I was taught lessons like if you meditate and keep your passageway clear and hold your horn and practice slow and just think about bird. One day bird will come through your horn and help you get them scales out. He'll come through. It was for real, like, you know, he never came through, but I was waiting for him for years, you know, never came, but that's a real thing. So, what was the question?
I'd asked you about your chapter when Jay Leno.
Yeah, so here it is.
I call you, yeah.
So Jay Leno, I was ditching every day. That's how I was getting to this shit. I couldn't learn no more at Santa Monica High School. Ben Wendell, the star saxophone player that had taught me a lot in 9th grade, had graduated and went to Eastman School of Music. So it was no other people to teach me. And it was whack as fuck at Santa Monica High School. And 10th grade years when my friend named Nicole Akiona, we were 16, she came to me, she said, I'm pregnant with your baby. I said, oh fuck, we did it one time.
Whoa.
One time. My socks were still on. It was crazy.
Not
anyway.
your socks. That's
27
weird.
years old now.
That's
God
the
bless him,
worst,
but-
honestly.
Right? You know. So now I have a baby on the way. It's my 10th grade year in high school.
Oh, no.
And Ben Wendell's gone. I'm not learning nothing. So then a flyer, my music teacher says, Joshua Redmond, another famous saxophone player, Joshua Redmond is doing a free clinic. First time I heard clinic. I thought clinic was, if you got a problem, go to the clinic. I didn't know clinics was happening in colleges.
Right.
I'm young, you know. Giving a clinic at UCLA. Giving a clinic at UCLA. I said, oh, UCLA, I know how to get there. Because in 7th and 8th grade, when I was going to Henry Clay and Audubon, I would ditch there and catch the number 3 bus to UCLA to battle everybody in Street Fighter 2 and get money. So I knew where UCLA was at, but
Right.
now I play the saxophone. So I'm like, UCLA, yeah, in the Herb Albert something. I said, Herb Albert, that's that white dude that played trumpet. That's corny, but maybe this is it. So I said, I'm gonna go up there. I caught the bus up there, and Joshua Redmond and Billy Childs, and it was like 48 people in the class. I had never seen a class this. I never been to college at this 10th grade.
Right.
I didn't know colleges had this many people in. So when I saw this many people, Joshua Redmond, and they had a calendar. They was gonna have Terrence Blanchard there, Kenny Garrett, Jackie McLean was coming. I said, and I stayed, and I asked one dude there, because I was always on some street hustling shit. I come from some other shit. So I knew, I said, what would T. Lee do if he was here?
He would ask the question.
He asked us, I said, hey,
He could ask the question.
I said this, some just said, just ask this.
Ask the question.
Does the teacher take attendance? The dude said, no, we just show up. We pay so much money, if it's on us if we don't come. College, you know, now I know. I'm paying for some shit. But anyway, that just got to me. But I was like, oh, okay. So then I started ditching every day. I didn't go to school the whole 10th. I started ditching 5 days a week and going to UCLA and studying with Kenny Burrell so much to where the dean of UCLA thought I went there. And I ended up ditching, getting picked up by the police, and my mother had to go to fucking how to be a parent classes.
No.
Because I was a minor and I didn't go to school. And when I filled all my classes, they said, where was you at? Was you doing drugs? Was you fucking? Was you what? Was you gang banging? I said, man, this is gonna sound like a fucking lie. This is gonna sound like a lie because I got a baby on the way. I'm fucked up. I know I done stole a gang of shit. I know y'all think I'm a liar. I know, but listen, I've been ditching going to UCLA. My mama said, shut the fuck up. Shut the fuck up. And she was so mad at me, you know. She didn't believe me until how we got off is Maxine Waters. It was a big deal. Maxine, my mama got in touch with Maxine Waters. When my mama started believing me, and the city of Santa Monica was still trying to persecute her, like, it was kind of being racist a little bit, like, how to be a parent classes, pay a fine. He was ditching for 4 months, 5 months, you know, and it was a real big thing. So Maxine Waters got involved, and we went up to UCLA, and it was the grace of God. But you know, cats like Billy Childs, Kenny Burrell, Hero Land, bless his soul, they all got on that stand and said, we understand Terrace is 16 years old, but this is the first time we ever heard, at this time, a young gangbanger saxophone player ditching coming to school. And that just moved the judge, and Jay Leno got wind of that story, and he just called my mom one day and was like, yo, man, I'm fucking with your son, I want to meet him. And I just caught the bus up to Jay Leno's show. I met Ralph Moore, the saxophone player. He said, hey, Jay, look, Jay want to fuck with you. So I said, oh, you Jay? Well, I'm Terrace Martin. He said, hey, man, come fuck with me. And I was fucking with Jay Leno.
Wait.
I can't make this shit up.
Wait. How did Jay even get wind? Like, how did he get wind?
Well, he got.
What was the wind? What wind? What wind did he get?
Well, because
you say it so casually, like yeah, he got wind. And
because I'm saying all that cool, funny shit, but the real truth is I was very focused and I was very well known pre-internet with the saxophone for being a young Jackie McLean copy at 16, 17 years old and could read music. So Jay was already giving scholarships anyway. And then he caught wind of that story, how this dude was ditching school.
To go to school.
And you know, shout out to UCLA. They gave me a full ride. I said no, because I felt like I got sick of looking at the bathrooms. I was there so much.
You said no?
I said no. I went to Cal Arts.
Okay, yeah. So you went to Cal Arts.
You went to Cal Arts?
Sure.
Oh yeah.
Perfect segue. So tell us about your time at Cal Arts. Like, you know, well, you said no to UCLA. And Jay Leno helped you get a scholarship. You opted into Cal Arts. So did you then finish your last couple of years of high school and then, or you dipped, you're like college?
I got kicked out of high school because I believe the police framed me, but I'm riding with these. When you a real one, you gotta go with this shit till you die. This is what it is, but you know, I got in trouble one more time.
So you weren't learning yet.
Well, I was learning, but I was.
You weren't learning yet.
Well.
You said, okay, I learned a little bit, just a little bit.
You know what? I grew up in a world where my father knew I was carrying a gun to school because I had to cross so many different gang neighborhoods to get to school. So I grew up in a situation where my mom was always upset, but my father was like, you know, tell me what happened. I gotta get on the bus. These dudes, they beat up all my friends. I just got my horn with a marching band uniform. Like this, like the horn, y'all don't know what that shit is like. The marching, your fucking finger is stretching and you're walking with the horn cap.
The finger.
You know what I'm saying? So I told my dad, I said, man, you know, I never will forget one day, I won't say his name, Dante Harrington. One day, I was on the bus stop. This is when I was at Santa Monica High. And this changed my life too. Shout out to Dante Harrington. But he had all the fine girls, you know what I'm saying? And I had my marching band uniform, my index
Your
finger
little
bending,
finger. Mm-hmm.
and my horn case. And it was raining. And he drove his car by and whoosh, got me all wet. You know what I'm saying? Got me all wet. I said, damn, I gotta make enough money to get a car, and playing jazz ain't it. That's a different story. But anyway, shout out to Dante Harrington. I don't know what I thought about Dante.
Yeah,
What are we talking about?
I lost
now,
that
now
one.
I'm pissed off at Dante.
No, I lost that. Well, we're talking about you
He had a
learning.
fucked up
We're
curly
talking
top
about
too,
you
man.
learning from your
Oh,
mistakes.
sorry. Yeah. So okay.
That was the key takeaway. We're talking
you.
about you
Yeah.
your learning curves.
So the bottom line was, it wasn't really when I got in trouble that other time. It was a real thing to where in L.A. at that time, the blacks and the Latinos had a real strong war going on. It was a real thing to where brothers was getting killed for wearing white T-shirts, and it was a real thing where, you know, I just in Santa Monica, it was at the schools, it was a lot of Latinos, and it was a select of blacks, and the blacks was kind of getting pushed over a little bit, you know, and I'm familiar with how to get out of that, you know what I'm saying? So anyway,
Survival.
I got caught with a gun. I got caught shooting a gun just in the air, like bam, 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 because I was trying to I gotta get on the bus and go home or get in trouble, and you know, it was on the news and everything.
Right. Right.
Regardless,
Okay, well,
anyway.
it was circumstantial. Fair.
Circumstantial,
It
exactly.
was circumstantial.
Exactly.
Yes.
Right.
Yeah.
Through that is when it got real.
Yeah. Okay. So. Okay. We digress. Let's circle back to CalU.
It's all gonna make sense at the end of this.
So you didn't finish high school. You started CalU.
No, I did finish high school.
I thought you said you didn't finish high school.
No, that was my story. So I got in trouble at Santa Monica.
Right.
I picked up by Reggie Andrews and ended up going to the east side at Locke High School.
And then
Through
you
Locke
finished.
High School, got the full ride to Cal Arts and USC. Chose Cal Arts, went on tour with Puff. Cal Arts didn't want me back. I had to go to USC.
Wait. You went on tour. Wait.
I'm trying to get through it.
Wait. Yeah, we are gonna run out of time.
God.
We actually are gonna run out of time. Okay, let's fast forward to CalU. So, how was your time at CalU? Was it beneficial to your professional development as an artist? Because I know you ultimately decided to leave. So, what informed that decision as well? Lots of questions in there, but let's go.
That first year of college for me was cool. At that time, I wanted to be a world famous jazz musician and take over the jazz world by storm, and move to New York and live in Brooklyn and freeze my ass off and play alto saxophone at the Village Vanguard. And you know what happened? I ended up working with DJ Battlecat and Snoop Dogg and getting a motherfucking hit record. And not from having no money to making $300,000, it changed my whole perspective. To all I thought about was Nicole, which is my first son's mom. I finally said to myself, oh my God, she'll stop calling me.
Not she'll stop.
This is all she needs. I could buy her off and take care of my kid. That was the whole time I was just trying to figure out, as I'm being this jazz dude, I'm falling in love with a child at the same time.
Right.
So now my priorities is how do I take care of him at a high level? And it was producing records and doing records. When I was at Cal Arts, I realized that's what I wanted to do. So I dropped out of Cal Arts, but I knew I couldn't tell my mom, so USC gave me a full ride. They already had a full ride for me, and I ended up going to USC, staying in the apartment, setting up a studio, getting kicked out of the dorms for too loud music and too many rappers coming for $500 beats.
What was your integration into producing music, right? I mean, you were a musician at the time. You went from being like, okay, I'm going to be a jazz star in New York, freezing my ass off, as you said, to you fast-tracked to the part where you met Snoop, or knew Snoop. Let's unpack that. Let's go there. Let's dive a little bit deeper into that journey, because, you know, we always leverage our relationships, right? It's an important part, I think, in any career journey. So how did you meet, and how did you leverage it to work for you? And what sparked your interest from just playing the horn to wanting to, produce music in that format?
In the same neighborhood of all this shit in the Crenshaw district,
Mm-hmm.
it's Billy Higgins, 4 houses that way, and 3 or 4 blocks that way is DJ Battle Cat.
Mm-hmm.
So it's the jazz right here, but then it's Battle Cat with Corrupt and everybody right there.
Right.
And you gotta walk through the whole neighborhood, because you know everybody, and you know everybody. This is your neighborhood, so you always knew Battle Cat lived in this certain house on Arlington, and you rarely saw him, but if you walked past, you could hear the music out the garage. And you knew it was Battle Cat, because at this time he already had Domino. It was an artist named Domino. Here we go, cause the crew starts to flow. He already had an artist named Domino that was like crazy on the radio. And he was like the producer. So you heard these beats walking past. Then you had Billy Higgins. I was already doing beats young, because hip hop is the music of my time. So before the saxophone, it was the drum machine anyway. Because we had a studio in my house growing up my whole life. So you heard Battle Cat coming through and everything. And I always had kept a relationship with the jazz dudes, the hip hop dudes, the punk dudes, the gospel, because I had a kid so young, I really wasn't that passionate about none of that shit. I had to work. So I had to go play saxophone with the jazz guys. I had to go play organ every Sunday for this Church of God in Christ. I had to do beats here and there. Forever Crip or Blood want to give me $50 for a beat.
Right.
So I was just doing it for a living. But Battle Cat was one of the guys that really helped me take it seriously in my neighborhood. So simultaneously, as I'm falling in love with jazz, Jackie McLean, Dexter Gordon, Sonny Stitt, Battle Cat is exposing me to Hank Shockley, the NBC 3000, the Mini Move, and different drum machines and keyboards like that, simultaneously at the same time with my parents in the household. So this is all at one time. This is like music, neighborhood, gang, love, soul, the black experience.
And what set you aside from all the other kids on the block, right? You weren't the only aspirational, I'm sure, musician, rapper, instrumentalist wanting a foot in the door. So what was the thing that gave you leverage in those relationships outside of just being part of the block?
I always looked up to real reputable people. Whether they're in jazz, politics, street, Bible, Quran, Buddhist, whatever. I always bump into the real deal, fortunately. And for me, like, I had real big homies that taught me, and my father, I always had the gift of knowing when it's time to go home. I think that I could get deep, but that one thing, because it's no difference from me and any of these guys I'm talking about. It's no difference. I'm not even the most talented one out of my crew that was at this time. I just knew when to go home. I just knew when to go to fuck home. I didn't have to wait till they was shooting. I saw they was arguing.
Right.
Hey.
It's time to go home.
Hey. Those dudes looking mean. Let's go.
Let's go home.
Or just in general, like, those that's, I got my young homie here, 6'7", he understands this, and knowing a simple thing that the world may laugh at, but knowing how not to go to certain liquor stores to get a bottle of water. You know what I'm talking about? Knowing, like, I can't go there. I don't want to go there.
Mm-hmm.
No, it's cool. I don't want to go there. I don't want to go there. Just knowing, really falling in love with those rules and the guys that protected those,
Knowing where to be.
Go home.
Know when to leave. Okay, so where are we at? You've left Cal U and you decided to go on tour with Snoop.
Yeah.
And that relationship was fostered through DJ. Um, right? Or
Well, when I got with the other producers, like Battle Cat, there was a few producers that was already with Snoop, DJ Battle Cat, but the the Snoop relationship was fostered by a few things, and you know, I gotta give myself a certain level of credit too, because my reputation has spoke for itself as far as my human being shit and me being solid and the music. Because Snoop doesn't look for how great you are with just music. Anybody could be good at music. A person like Snoop usually looks for like, because he's iconic, he's an icon. He's, man, you know, but he looks for the human, he looks for, are you a solid human being?
mm-hmm.
You know, and by the time I got with Snoop, he already had been hearing a lot of good things about me, but it was some people that really he trusted. It was a guy, it was a few people that Snoop always kind of messed with me here and there when I got with him, but then when he really trusted me was when a guy by the name of Derek Ford took real interest in me, and through that, Snoop started saying, "Well, okay, this, you know, this dude's still doing his music and he's around some things and he's doing his. I like this guy." To the point that when I moved in with Snoop, you know, and he really took me up under his wing and everything. So then we started building our relationship thick from that point, you know. But it was already after tour because Snoop didn't trust nobody at the time. This is like Death Row, Suge Knight, beef time with Snoop, you know.
You said it was after the tour?
Yeah, it was. I already had toured with Snoop before he gained this other level of trust with him. Because when you touring with somebody, you know, I know, you know, people got touring friends that tour musicians. They be taking pictures with the artists. They don't be with the artists.
Yeah.
The band be where the band eat, and the band stay, and the artists be at the Ritz.
No.
So I didn't see Snoop a lot, believe it or not, that close to the road. But when I
Right.
got home and started living with him and spending time with him and him teaching me certain things, that's when everything changed. That's when I got with Snoop, my life just completely, my life and everybody around me's life changed. Me, Thundercat, Kamasi, everybody changed when we got with Snoop.
Tell us a bit about that. What did you learn during that time of your life, and how would you say it's been instrumental in, like, what tools did you take forward in as a person, as Terrace, and as an artist?
I learned don't take shit personal. I learned it's just a business. I learned everybody don't understand that. I learned to be I choose who I'm gentle with. I'm gentle with my woman. I'm gentle with my kids. I'm gentle with my family. I'm gentle with people. But it take one time for me to not be like that, and I'm gonna keep it like that. I learned also from him to, you know, the biggest thing is everybody, all of us in here, we all take shit too personal. And some shit don't be about that. Snoop fired me. You know, he fired me one time and he was like 90% of my income. And after 7 years, he just fired me. Well, he didn't just, I was fucking up. I was fucking up. I don't want him to say, you always say, no, I was fucking up. And he fired me. He didn't tell me he's gonna fire me, man. Let me tell you the story real quick. So my job used to be with Snoop. They're like, hey, I'm about to fire that person, T. Go to Ricky, the tour manager, get the letter. Your job is to find out their room number and slip it to the door. So your job, I always heard this sound. My job was to hear the shit go, he's out of here.
You felt real cool.
One day I was
So it
fucked
happened
up.
to you?
Yeah, let me tell you. I had been, the bottom line is Snoop spoiled me. I was young and I felt I couldn't get fired. And I wasn't the musical director, but I was acting like it. And I said some offensive things to some people I shouldn't have said. And Snoop doesn't like nobody mean around. Like, you can't be mean and offend people. He's full of love. So he had to send me home because everybody complained about me. So I never will forget. You know, can I tell you the real story? How I found out?
Yes, please.
For real, like, can I be transparent?
Tell us.
I'm gonna edit this shit because we on camera and I'm older now. I got family, I got a woman at home, I can't. But I'm gonna tell some real shit. It was on the Warped Tour, the 311 Warped Tour, and it was a huge tour. And I was complaining like a punk ass motherfucker the whole tour about nothing, just prima donna complaining shit, right? So we got to this tour, and I knew a girl in the city, so hey, come by the hotel. So we chilling. Hey, because everybody had told me we got 3 days off. So I'm like, we got 3 days off. So I called this girl, yeah, come on, we got 3 days off, baby, come hang with me. So we chilling and everything, and I'm not seeing nobody else in the hotel room. In the hotel, area. And I'm like, I don't see none of the band, I don't see the tour buses here. Long story short, Snoop had told everybody we're not gonna tell that motherfucker Terrace. I'm gonna tell him we got days off. I'm gonna teach his arrogant ass a lesson. So mind you, I'm chilling with the girl. I never will forget this because this was such a beautiful woman. And fellas, it was just now about to get to this part. Yeah? And I'm rubbing her shoulders and shit. I put the baby oil in the microwave. I didn't burn her too hard. I'm rubbing the shoulders and shit. I got Jodeci playing. And all of a sudden I hear a...
Not Jodeci.
And I'm like, nah. That ain't no for me. And I'm rubbing her. She's talking about whatever she's talking. I'm like, yeah, baby. And I turn my head. It ain't time to check out. And it's an envelope under the door thing. So I said, hey, baby, let me use the bathroom. And I go and I take the envelope in the bathroom. And it said, here is your ticket home, 6 a.m. Your services are no longer needed on the Snoop Dogg tour. Hi and goodbye. And that was it. And Snoop didn't talk to me for like 7-8 months after that. And that was 90% of my income. That's actually what humbled me. I know we didn't get there yet, but that shit humbled me like a motherfucker. That shit fucked me. I'm still thinking about that. I'm acting like y'all ain't even here. I'm just talking to my homegirl. We ain't talking a while. That's why I really don't like doing the personal interviews with my friends.
This is exactly what it's supposed to be. This is exactly what it's supposed to be.
That girl to this day, she ended up telling somebody, I think Terrace was scared. She don't know. I just was like throwing up in the bathroom. Like, I got fired from my job. Oh my God. I had just bought a house too. I lost that house after that. It happens.
Oh no, what did you do? Okay, so how did you work your way back? What did you...
Snoop had called my mom a month
Firstly, what did you learn?
Oh, I'm going to tell you this. So Snoop
What did you learn and then what did you do?
I learned to shut the fuck up.
Back?
I learned to shut the fuck up and...
Mind your business.
Because I didn't realize that Snoop... Man, it's hard to... Without the... How can I say these? Because these names are famous now, but... I mean, everybody's famous. We're in LA, right? We're on a roof. So, anyway. The bottom line is I learned to shut the fuck up and worry about me. And I'll tell you why. Because the person I was complaining about was a bass player that kept playing the wrong notes to Gin and Juice. The notes to Gin and Juice are F, A flat, F sharp, F, A flat, F sharp, C, 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 C. That's some nerd shit, probably the wrong pitch, but regardless. But he kept doing this whole homemade shit, and I was like, you playing the wrong notes. You playing the wrong notes. But I didn't realize Snoop didn't have him on stage for bass. He was playing Madden with Snoop every day. Snoop is a gamer. So I was disrespecting Snoop's gamer friend. That was more important than the show, is what I'm trying to say. But I learned show business is not about show business. Just be quiet, mind your business, and do your job. And don't try to be a fucking hero, man. You know, that's my stance now.
Mm-hmm.
But before Snoop fired me, he had already called my mom a month before and told her what was going on and was hoping I'd turn it around. So by the time he fired me, my mom didn't even tell me for months that this was a plan to humble me. And
what?
Yeah,
Why didn't she say anything? She didn't give you a heads up?
Because it was time. It was because if I didn't do that now, I wouldn't be sitting with you here.
Right. So how did you make your way back?
Waited for him to call. Sat at home all day. for 7 months and 8, 9 months. But in these 8, 9 months, what happened was I had bought a house. I rented a house in Porter Ranch, California, by Northridge, and I was squatting in the house. Right, y'all know what squatting is?
Mm-hmm.
I wasn't paying that motherfucking rent, and I had a plug that was flipping the house because I had nowhere to go. I could go back to my mom, but I was embarrassed of losing my gig. I was embarrassed as a man. I was embarrassed as a father. I was embarrassed, thinking everybody was looking at Terrace and nobody was looking at Terrace. But that's what happens to us in our own head. And through that time of not talking to Snoop and being heartbroken by that and really understanding my ego, is that time is when I said, well, shit, I might as well figure out a new crew and do some music. So I had my friend named Calmatic, Chuck, pull up. He was a kid then. He's a video guy, does movies and everything now. Huge. Inkwood. And he was telling me, he said, man, why you always sad around here? I said, I don't know what the fuck. I ain't got no money. I'm hanging out with 3 or 4 different women that I don't even like, but they keep buying me food, so I have to hang with them and laugh at these dumbass jokes. And I'm depressed, man. I don't have nothing going on. He said, man, you gotta put out music. I said, I need to get paid. He said, you ain't gonna get paid. It's the internet. You gotta put out music. Them shoes loud as a motherfucker. I like that though. Are they tap shoes? Come on now, yeah. And I was like, what you mean? He said, man, you know a lot of rappers, call your friends, just put out a mixtape for free. He said, you ain't paying rent, so you could do this. And the first person I called was a guy named Problem from Compton, Lady G from South Central, Dom Kennedy from the Merck Park, J Rock from Watts, and Kendrick Lamar from Compton. And I moved. Everybody moved in this house I was squatting in for like 5 months. And through me getting fired from Snoop and having no money and nowhere to turn to, all I could depend on was what Jackie McLean told me is keep studying, keep searching. And I got with these guys that was a little younger than me, and they was into jazz and into hip hop, and they had been following my career, and there wasn't no money involved, but I had a couch, I had food, and I had water. So it was nothing for Kendrick to wake up at 6 in the morning, do 4 songs for the day, Problem 5 songs, Bad Luck 6 songs, Dom Kennedy 4 and 5 songs, Lady G this many songs, and to the point where everybody started coming to this house that they didn't know we could have all went to jail because I was squatting. You know, matter of fact, you know, let me tell you the funny story. So the last time I could squat, this last week after 8 months, I said, DJ, it was DJ Quick. I said, come to the house. Let's do some music. He came to the house, and I went to Whole Foods, and he called me and said, I think you should come back home. I said, why? He said, the sheriff gave me a letter, says you have to leave. I'm gonna leave your door open. I'm gonna leave. You know, and that was that time, but that was also the time that, you know, respectfully, a whole nother West Coast was being birthed right out of my house with these other people. Mm-hmm. It's like this is where me, Soundwave, and Kendrick, other than Carson, was developing what you heard on all these records. This is just where a sound came from. And it ain't just a sound came from me, it's just everybody in this one place based off what had happened in life to start creating shit. Yeah, everybody knew I was fired. Kendrick and them was so happy Snoop fired me. Because they had been waiting for me to come home. Because I used to call them like, I'm making money on tour. I'll be there in 4 months. I had a drum machine wreck. Click. So when Snoop fired me, I say, hey, you guys I got like 37 beats right here. You guys want to come rap? Come rap. You know what I'm saying?
So, was that a turning point for you? How did you turn that situation around?
Rest in peace, Nate Dogg. Randomly, Nate Dogg was coming to my house every day. He had just had a stroke and couldn't really talk. But he was coming to my house every day. This sound was being birthed and just giving his spirit. Just want to send love to the spirit of Nate Dogg. That's all.
Wow. Take a moment. So how did you turn that situation around? Was it when Snoop called? I mean, you gathered all these people. What did that do for you after that?
To keep it real, when that started happening, at the time we was developing a crew out of Ladera in the Hawthorne area by the name of Odd Future start sprouting out. So Chuck was telling us about these guys named Odd Futures before any Calmatic was like on the ground with this shit. And he just said, man, this is what's going on over here. And we was like, yeah. And they end up dropping and went, whoa. It swarmed Odd Future. And we was like, damn, that's what cats is doing. They dropping it in this. So I remember, we just kept paying attention to everybody. Me, Punch, Kendrick, and at this time, I started really migrating just with the TDE camp. And we start just being very us. Excuse me, Soundwave, Punch, Kendrick, J-Rock, Schoolboy Q, Absol, Top Dog, Dave Free, Musa. And we just started being us, but the Odd Future guys was really inspiring because they was moving at a light, And I remember us just being like, that shit is crazy. And I remember the day Dr. Dre called Winnie Kendrick and mentioned it on the radio, and that's when everything changed again. Then it was like, then when you say Snoop, this was all during the time when me and Snoop was talking, but we wasn't working. Because at this time, I wasn't making any money, but everything was so exciting, it was fulfilling. Mm-hmm. I wasn't making any money, but everything that was happening was so artistically fulfilling. I was full. My rent was paid. It wasn't, but in my head it was. But everything was so, I just knew this was something.
This is where you're supposed to be.
This is the Jackie McLean, Miles Davis. I just knew this was, I felt like Snoop fired me and loved me and prepared me, because that was my offering to TDE. I was the youngest dude with so much experience because of Snoop. And I think through that time is when everything just, that shit just changed. The world has changed because of that time. It didn't help COVID, but it helped some good music,
I think that's a really important reflective point, right? Because you went through something adverse that landed you exactly where you needed to be. And often in our career trajectories, or life trajectories in general, we hit these crossroads, right? Where something really shitty happens, and it lands us exactly where we need to be sometimes to fill our spirit, which then yields the result of us being able to capitalize from that place, which is more important, actually. So I think that's a really beautiful takeaway.
Yeah, it's a Buddhist proverb. It always says, you can find beauty within every problem. And some I learned through Herbie Hancock. He's one of my mentors and teachers. And he always says, try to become addicted to challenges, because the overcoming them is so beautiful. Mm-hmm. So I remember me going to a Buddhist meeting a few years ago with him, and a guy came in and said, my name is John, and I'm a heroin addict. And they was like, yeah. And he was like, I lost my wife. It was like, yeah. And he was like, I lost everything. And they were like, yeah. And I was like, I feel like John, like, what the fuck is going on? John need to get the fuck out of here and figure it out. But through that, the person that was teaching the class said, I know this looks crazy, but we're saying yes to all these challenges because the breakthrough is magnificent. We're already seeing the breakthrough from the challenges. Mm-hmm. And that went, whoa. Because my whole life has been about, I got so used to challenges, I didn't even know they were, I didn't even know they were challenges. You know what I'm saying? I mean, like, man, my woman now, we so different. She's an artist. So, she's a visual artist, so, those kind of, everything on the outside sticks to them. Bam. So, child, but she gets it all out. But my thing is like, I think now I'm addicted to challenges because my whole life has been a motherfucking challenge. I didn't grow up with a 2-parent household. I didn't grow up with money. I didn't grow up with none of that shit. You know what I'm saying? It's like, I get it now. Now, when my life comes to a problem, I'm not baiting in that problem. I'm already like, okay, I'm here. But what's the breakthrough and what's the solution? Right. I'm already addicted to the outcome no matter what problem I go through. So I don't look and if I could breathe on earth, I don't look at shit like a problem. I don't look at problems with people. If you ain't trying to kill me or my kids, we ain't got no problem. We just don't have no problem,
Perspective.
Yeah.
There's so far to go and so little time. So I'm going to ask you a couple of questions I asked you to reflect on, which was, we've touched on the other two, but what are 3 things you would do differently coming up? And then what are 3 things you're glad you did and wouldn't change?
3 things I would do differently is coming up is nothing, and nothing. Straight up. Because I understand life. I really understand life. I understand my life. That's my opinion. It's my life. It's my life. And I don't believe I would be sitting here next to you. It's like when I found you.
You found me.
I found you because being an only child, my job in my life was to discover my village.
Yeah.
When I heard Jackie McLean when I heard he had grandchildren, first of all, I already knew he had a grandchild named Renee McLean after Jackie's giant son, saxophonist, her father, Renee McLean, which I got a funny story about your father. I was in a rush to go to my Blue Note gig. I said, I'm gonna go take a cab. He said, no, I'm gonna drive you. I said, oh, fuck. And I was late to my gig. Anyway,
of course you were late. Of course you were late. My dad once had us late for an exam because he ran out of gas and we got stuck on the side of the road. My sister had a paper to write. That's just like a typical Renee story.
Renee McLean. I just remember.
Of course he had you late. If you called me, I'd be like, take the cab.
Well, we were there.
Take the cab.
We were there.
Get out while you can.
But he was really trying to parallel for like 46 minutes in this one spot. And I was like, it's Renee McLean. So you were like, bro, I gotta go. He was like,
that is so. He's like, wait. Just relax.
I told your dad, I said, you gotta walk in with me. But anyway,
that's so funny.
What were we saying? That was funny. I thought about it today.
So funny. Nothing, and nothing.
Yeah, nothing. Because I believe that, like Pharoah Sanders' song, the Creator has a master plan. I believe everybody has their own book. This is what I believe. This is not belief. This is not what it is. This is what I believe and how I live. Gotta be careful, man.
Yeah.
Shit gets crazy out here.
It gets wild.
So what I believe in, the Creator, I believe
yes.
Everybody in there has a book.
Mm-hmm.
We all had a book, in my belief. We all had a book. It's a book. Some of us, once we get 50 years old, we're not going to live as long as we live. It's a book. We all have a start day and an end day. That's why I look at my time on earth so important. And I try not to be so deep about that because nobody knows really even my children think I'm fucking crazy. Except my youngest, Connor. When we're alone, when it's just me and her, I talk to her different than anybody else. I say things like, because one day she said something to me that revealed that she's been here before. Mm-hmm. And I said, hey, it's me. Hey, it's me. It's Terry. And she clicks into this whole other thing. I'm like, man, should I do this? And she's like, you should do that, but just use good judgment. She uses words she don't use around nobody else. It's really deep.
Right.
It's like she ain't even my kid. I don't know who this kid is. Like, But I wouldn't change anything because I believe everybody has a book and everything was written for me. It's like I am aware of why I'm on earth. I know who I talk to. You know, my mom always said, you should do this and do this, and you should do this and do this, and you should be clean, and then you should talk clean, and how come your other friends do that and do that, and your other friends do that? I say, well, fuck them, they clean. You know, that's what square motherfuckers do. But for me personally, I talk to a person that loves art but don't understand or know the keys to hope. That's why I'm on earth, because I understand that person. I understand the insecure kid. I understand the person not tall enough to play basketball, not strong to play football, not good enough to read music. He stuttered. I understand all these things that most of us have called insecurities. My job is to get in there on earth and massage these things, let everybody know we are the motherfucking same. But I couldn't get to that point without being embarrassed before. Once I stopped getting, I done been packed out in front of my girlfriend. Packed out means jumped. Bloody in front of and she didn't leave. Shout out to her. She's still doing 9 years in the pen. That's the homegirl China from A-Track Gangster. It get deep with me. See, I got a whole thing. But my thing was, I've been embarrassed so much in my life. I've cracked notes in front of people. I've slipped and fell. I've been beat up. I've been talked about. I've been lied on. I've been this. I've been this. I've been cheated on. I've done this. And I've done all the same things to people because I'm a human. So I think for me, I don't live and roll with that. But whether I interview or talk to y'all in my music, I don't ever want to leave that because I want somebody to be able to pull on to that and hold on to that. And I think that's why a lot of people really do fuck with me, because I do honor the mistake. I appreciate the imperfect. I know we ain't perfect. I know we all learning how to love, and we love all our different motherfucking ways. You know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. So musically, my job is to get in there in the artistic world and let the people know in that you have an ally and you can get to the other side. And as far as I'm concerned, I don't even know what the other side is. I'm just making a living. And people like what I do, and thank God for that. And when I die, it'll still be here, but it'll be another motherfucker with all the same skill level, if not more. So my thing is, while I'm on earth, let me make sure I can spot those people out and make sure they got the proper keys where they may not have to go some of the things I went through, because it did take a lot for me to even figure out how to get here and talk a certain way, how to be confident being a certain type of person in anything, especially in Los Angeles when most of my heroes are Crips. My daddy's a gangster that played jazz. My mother is a Church of God in Christ, God-fearing lady, and I grew up in South Central. We don't grow up coming to Hollywood. We don't grow up coming to the motherfucking Valley, and we don't grow up knowing what the industry is. I'm just working to live. So my job is to stay there mentally, spiritually, and make sure that I keep pulling from the artists from that perspective, because those are the baddest motherfuckers. The people that go to art school and all that shit, that's lame. That's when your mom, oh, you're good, go to art school. No. The people that's like, this is fucked up. My mama say, don't do this, because this ain't making no money. Shit is fucked up. Oh no, but I'm still doing this. That's who I'm looking for.
That's part of your purpose.
With love, Nazi.
With love. Okay, so what about the latter question? What are 3 things you're glad you did and wouldn't change?
Fuck with Snoop Dogg when all my homies say, don't fuck with no famous rapper, he gonna make your music pop. Fuck y'all. I'm going with the dog.
Yeah?
With the dog. Apologizing to him for my arrogance and my ego when he gave me an opportunity and he could have chose thousands of people, and how dare myself use that opportunity when I was bringing on all my friends, and he gave me this big thing where he let me hire everybody and be a vessel to get to this icon. And I was so depressed and sad a year later when we finally talked, saying, I can't believe I almost messed up that tunnel for other artists, being so fucking selfish. I can't believe I fucked off about 20 people with money because of my arrogance. I'm happy I did that, and I'm really happy, man. I really stayed down. I'm just happy I stayed down with everybody I stayed down with. I was raised by the best guys in my neighborhood. You know, best guys in the industry, Snoop Dogg, Derek Ford, Battle Cat, my father, Curly Martin, and I've been around men that stay down. They stay with their families, they stay with their kids, no matter what. They fuck with their folks, and they just stay down. And I don't know how to make it deeper than I stay down, but not like I'll stay down, but like I stay down with the intent of like stealing from these other sources and giving the village that don't have access to that information. Mm-hmm. The same thing that I feel Snoop Dogg did to all of us from these in these communities. Our Duke Ellington, our Count Basie, our Jack McLean, our Quincy Jones, and so forth. Mm-hmm. Y'all better stay down.
Better stay down. All right, well, I'm going to open it up to the floor for like 10 minutes because we're a little bit behind time. If we have anybody that wants to ask a question, Mel is going to pass the mic around.
Come on, Mel.
Come on, Mel. So, yeah, raise your hands and she'll come to you. There's one over there and one over there.
Hi, I am seeking almost desperately how to get into production. So I started with researching which instruments to play so I can learn little bits of my own. And then I was like, okay, what kind of programming can I use? And then I was looking for boards. Like, I mean, I have really gone deep. So you're studying, I've gone in. So I'm looking at like Akai's now. But what would you suggest to start, basically?
A laptop, a Mac laptop, Ableton, and a controller, and a lot of fucking YouTube late at night. And asking YouTube things like, how do I make a beat? How do I play? No, I asked just, you know, I learned how to tie at 37 years old. Embarrassing as a jazz musician. But how do I tie a Windsor knot? I just think YouTube has all the answers now. Not even being funny, but Ableton and a controller, and because Ableton has so many great sounds you just pull from Ableton or Logic. You know, those things are all whatever you choose. But if you just get one, stick with one. Check out YouTube, learn how to do it, and listen to a lot of music and try to copy some of the music you hear. Try to copy it. You know, try to pick out the chords one finger at a time. Pick out the drum, try to copy. That's how we get better with art. We copy, we emulate first. We fall in love with our heroes, you know. And people say, well, I didn't do art like that. Then they usually ain't the bad motherfuckers. But the ones, we all copy somebody until we get our thing. And through copying somebody, and not exact, but through trying to, you'll hear your own sound being birthed through those type of tools. That's what I do, whether it's jazz, hip-hop, R&B. My mother taught me that. Learn song off the radio, try to get as close as possible. Saxophone, drum beats, get the hi-hat clap, get the bass line, get the attack and the cutoff, and 30 cycles as close as possible, because you can never get it exact, but through almost searching for getting exact, you'll having tools to birth your own sound through those things.
Ooh.
That's a lot, but just copy some shit, you'll figure it out.
Hey, how are you all? I'm back here. Hey.
Hi.
Welcome.
He's over there. He's over there.
Hey, how you doing?
Yeah.
Good. Long time fan, man. Big fan of your music. I wanted to say the song "Don't Trip" off the Sounds of Crenshaw album. I probably listen to that song once a week, like for years, man. That's a beautiful, beautiful song, man. That's a really special song. I wanted to ask you in terms of artistically, where do you envision yourself kind of going next? And if there were like, you know, if you could just do whatever you wanted to do, unlimited resources, unlimited potential to work with whoever you want, what would that look like? Like, what would your dream list of folks to work with? Your dream list of like maybe instruments to bring into your sound? Like, what would that look like?
You know, I don't have a dream list I want to work with, because everybody I desire to work with is dead. You know what I'm saying? Straight up, like, ain't none of these motherfuckers fucking with Marvin Gaye out here. I don't desire, you know. Let me not see. You about to get me started. That's why they do. Terrace, be careful when you go up there, you know. But yeah, I don't desire to work with. I don't have a wish list for that. But I do. I have a a urge to work with people that want to break things and put them back together. That's kind of what I'm more into, as opposed to the name is do those kind of things. What was your other question?
Oh, in terms of like any types of sound or like,
Yeah.
you know, like I'm piano or whatever, any type of like artistic sound that you want to bring into.
I'm not hearing no sound for me. I'm seeing a sound. I'm really diving into writing movies and producing movies right now. Because I'm seeing it's hard for me to write. I've scored some things, but I want to be a part of writing the movie, scoring, and the soundtrack. You know, so this year, actually, just to be honest with you, I'm investing. I probably shouldn't, but fuck it. We only live once. I'm investing my own money into doing a couple of independent films right now, where I could do everything, you know. But I've always invested into myself. I was squatting with Kendrick, and you see what that is, you know. You know, this watch is probably one of them records that we did, but I was squatting like a motherfucker, you know what I'm saying? So shit does turn around when you invest in yourself, is my point. So this year I'm gonna take my time and really I'm investing my own finances. You know, I could play the game and say I'm gonna try to get income and have these meetings, but I don't like having all these goddamn meetings. And, you know, LA, you never know what meeting is the meeting, so I'm just gonna invest my own money. I ain't got a lot of money, but I got a lot of relationships, and I know how to hold a camera my damn self and edit. So I'm just gonna start doing my own movies, bro. This year we already got one. We got Slate to start and everything like that. But that's what I see for myself is movie, because I don't really hear music no more. I see it. You know, I'm not inspired by nothing musically at all. I'm inspired by the way somebody's walking down the street, or I'm inspired by the way somebody cooked that salmon, or I'm inspired by your question to me right now. It's not an artist or a piece of music that's inspired me. I mean, I'm still inspired by Miles and Quincy and Dr. Dre, but I don't even hear music no more. I just see it. So if I can't see it, I ain't even fucking with your music. That's just where I'm at personally.
We have one back there.
All the way here in the back.
Peace, what's good, man? I really align with how you said you embrace the challenges. And I was actually curious in terms of the industry from a business standpoint. Do you see AI being a challenge to the industry? And to the extent that you are, how are you using it to leverage your success?
I just talked about doing an AI movie because I can't afford the fucking actors. So I'm all with AI, bro. I'm not one of them people. I'm probably this is probably gonna get some shit, but I'm all for it. Bring it on, bring it on, bring it on, bring it on. Not to get deep, but I've actually been reached out to about teaching AI how to play a certain style of music. You know what I'm saying? And I don't fear that. I don't have a problem. I love the future. I love where technology is going. I think before you fear something, you may try to befriend it and get to learn it. You know, I think I better not say that last thing, but let's just say, you know, before we fear it, let's just learn it and see what's up, you know. But I'm fucking with it. I love what it's doing. I love where it's going, and I'm not tripping. I'm not one of them artists that's scared of that. I know what I have comes from a place that's unknown. I know for a fact. I know for a fact what I have is a little different. So I actually want to assist AI. I want to assist it. I want to help AI. And I want AI to help us. So I'm all for all that. And I'm with whatever it bring on. The motherfucker still can't play the blues, dog. So it don't matter to me.
We have one last question right here. And then.
So I got a couple of movies.
I asked what the movies are about.
Well, me and my guy, Dion Ford, he's a partner of mine. We have a label together, different things. I have a few partners, but the movie that we're working on now is called Death of a Podcaster. I gotta stop right there. You know, and no, I'll give you a vibe. Basically, it's just about, it's a lot of things going on, different levels of podcasting. The level that we're talking about going on, it's a lot of people, literally, like, you know, it used to be the term don't snitch or a snitch, but you don't have to have a snitch no more, because it's criminals on podcasts telling them, oh, I killed Sam at 4:30 a.m., 3 a, because he killed my other friend, and then I walked over there and killed his friend. And we're just like, this is going on in real time. So we're capturing that vibe. Not to mention we know a lot of the guys that's doing this dumb shit. With love.
Okay, well, that makes for our time tonight.
I gotta use the bathroom. I've been being cool.
Okay, wait. We're almost done. We're almost done. I just want to say
I'm in my mid-40s now, so that mid-40 P is different now.
you just need to hold it 2 more minutes.
Okay, here we go.
2 more minutes. I just want to say
Let's go.
thank you for coming up here and sharing your story with us and your truth and your vulnerability and your music and your spirit and your friendship. I really appreciate you agreeing to do this tonight and for being here. So can I get a little bit of a whoop whoop? And thank you to everyone else for coming and supporting LSL. Follow me at longstorylong_ on Instagram if you haven't yet. My name is Nosy Paul McLean. Again, I'm your curator and host. And yeah, I appreciate you all. There's going to be drinks and food downstairs if you're hungry and thirsty. Yeah, have a good night. Thank you.
Peace. Nazi!